Okay, I think it is now streaming live. Yeah, can you see me?
Yes,
Yes, Sanjay. Good morning, Sanjay.
Hey,
So I'll say a few words and we can get started. So
yeah,
guys,
sure.
so our book club, the COE book club organizes meetings whenever we have new books come out or we are meeting a certain author. This time it's our very own Sanjay Chandra. So show some emojis, give him a warm welcome. Now, just to set this meeting in context, we have very little time today, so we'll have a short and sweet meeting to introduce his new work. See, whenever we talk about, let's say we talk about Azure or Fabric or anything, everyone knows what is Azure. Very few people learn and use it to become like an actual engineer. You'll know the concepts, but you're not able to use it properly. So many people, what they do is they study concepts, they study things like ADF, Databricks, Power BI, Snaps. All these are different concepts, regardless of the technology involved. A lot of people still wonder why are recruiters scrolling past my resume? Why are they not calling me? Because knowing the tool is not the same as learning how to solve with it. So there are two ways of learning. One is concepts and one is case study. Whenever we talk about the concepts, it can show you what a particular technology can do. For example, in this case, what Azure can do or what Fabric can do. But it is the case studies that show you how real data actually moves through Azure. In concepts, you study a pipeline, for example, right? In case studies, you actually learn how to build one, in a particular vertical, how to debug it, how to optimize it, and also you should be able to explain why you did it that way. So when we talk about concepts, concepts teach you, uh, concepts might make you informed. You're informed about a particular concept. Case studies make you employable. Concepts will help you understand the topic, right? Case studies will make you stand out. So that's why we were very excited when Sanjay wrote a book on case studies, and today we are here to celebrate his book, to learn why he did it and what are the contents and so on and so forth. And we have Vaishnavi who will be asking questions to Sanjay, and then we'll give a chance to some audience members to understand why he wrote it, what's it in it, and what is the best way to practice using the book. Over to Vaishnavi and Sanjay.
Yeah,
Hi,
thanks,
Sanjay.
Saran. Yeah. Hi.
Welcome to the Meet the Author session. I believe this is your first session with the CEU. Okay, so I'm going to start with the questions already, and it's going to be very basic. How's my audio, though?
It is good. Is that the question? First question?
Yeah, that was a test.
Okay.
So Arun has given us the introduction of what is a concept-related book and what's a case study.
Yeah.
I want to know, I'm curious, why did you pick a case study book to write first? Like, what are you trying to give us? And if I'm going to pick up the book, what could I expect from the book?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very good question, which will set the context. So generally, when I started my career in tech, I started with Power BI, which is like a visual tool, which is like the output, right? And when I built my portfolio site and when I built the projects, it was appreciated by many people, and that has led me to get a lot of opportunities. And because of that reason, and even on LinkedIn also, I became popular because of this popularizing this concept of portfolio. Again, portfolio is not something which is new, it's an old concept. Web developers, photographers, they have been doing it for a very long time. But when it comes to Power BI specifically, or even some specific tools in business intelligence, I was the one who was promoting that approach aggressively along with few other people as well on LinkedIn. Very few people were talking about it. I'm talking about back in 2020. So then, because of that reason, people started following. Like I used to share what are different ideas for a portfolio, how to increase your visibility, and a lot of these topics which will help people in their career. So of course, there are many people, like I mentioned, but there are only few people who are talking about it, and I was one of those few people. Then I transitioned from a pure BI to a hybrid role, and then from a hybrid to a pure data engineer role. So when I first got into data engineering role, I was just trying to look at different portfolio to get some inspiration, portfolio websites or repositories, etc. And what I felt was when it comes to Power BI, there are very good portfolios with storytelling and everything because it's visual tool, it's an output. So I can see like it's like flooded. Internet is flooded with portfolios of Power BI and even for web development for that matter. But when I went and saw for data engineering, I couldn't find any. And even for me to benchmark my work against like, okay, what is the best work of a data engineer? I didn't have any kind of baseline or even a reference point to compare my work with. So then I started to think about it. Okay, so then I started talking. So when I started talking to a lot of people, everyone was telling me that no, for Power BI it's easy because it's a visualization tool. It's easy to showcase and build a portfolio. But for something like Azure or AWS or any other data engineering backend work, it is very difficult to build a portfolio because many people, according to many people, anything which is where you are working on backend, it is not possible to show a good portfolio, which is as interesting as a BI one. So at that time, what I was doing was, since I didn't have any reference point for a portfolio, like even if you go to different courses which are there were few projects, but what I felt was I want something like a diversified portfolio, like more use cases covered and everything. So initially, I started this like an assignment. Like I was just trying to revise the concepts of data engineering and getting ready for the job market to make a full-time transition to the data engineering role from a hybrid. So at that time, what happened? I decided that I will just come up with one scenario which I can properly articulate and then I can show it as part of my portfolio. Initially, I picked one use case. I mean, one use case, then another one I have added. And then I shared this with Arun. Like, this is what I'm doing in my data engineering. This is the progress. This is the idea I have come up with in order to build my portfolio. So at that time, Arun really appreciated the idea. And I was also, I mean, what I did at that time was I didn't want to just do an assignment and say that, okay, I have done an incremental loading, or I didn't want to do an assignment and say that, okay, this is what I have done. I wanted to have a story. I want to have the context because people like stories. Like, so I built the first case with a context with some fictitious company name, having some storyline behind it, and then I built the first project. So when I first built the project, and then when I showcased some screenshots and everything to few people whom I know, including Arun. So Arun is the first one to say that, hey, this is fantastic. This idea is very good. I think this should be actually shared to the public for a greater good because it's a very interesting approach, like how you have combined the MBA, the management style of learning to data engineering, something technical like a data engineer. And that's when it started. And I initially started with 5 cases, and then I have expanded it because a lot of people said, no, I need some hands-on with PySpark. Okay, I need hands-on with SQL. I need hands-on with this. Some people said, okay, I even want some hands-on with AI ML side as well. So I started to blow it up. I started to expand it carefully because it needs careful thought. And then I have come up with like more than 15 case studies. And then that was formatted into book and then it is published. So I mean, that's the story behind it. I mean, a long story short, it was like something like a problem which I identified, especially for the aspiring data engineers. This book will bridge that gap.
Okay, so I'm an aspiring data engineer. I'm trying to move to that field. Right now, I am at the beginner level using Azure. I know my way around it. I know how to build pipeline. So if I were to pick up your case study and build a pipeline, how is that going to explain my expertise rather than just watching a YouTube video and building a pipeline by myself. So there are a lot of YouTube videos out there, and there are a lot
Yes.
of technical guides out there, and I could just build one myself. Why should I go for your casebook, and how is that gonna set me apart?
Yes, I think that's a very relevant question because when we talk from interview or hiring manager point of view, today what is happening is there are so many people who are writing data engineer on the resume. But when you look at the quality or when you look at the rejection rate, it is very, very high. I mean, across all the companies from what I have seen. If let's say if they are taking 20, 30 interviews, finally they are ending up hiring only one or two people, and sometimes they are not even hiring, they're keeping the position open. They would rather want a data engineering position open than to hire a wrong person. And that's how companies are thinking as well. Because once you hire a person, especially in a full-time role, if you want to, let's say, if you feel that performance is not up to the mark, and if they try to remove that person, that will cause a HR issue, and it's not correct as well. I mean, it will cause problem to both hiring manager, to candidate, and also to HR. So it's a very difficult situation. So what a lot of data engineering teams or even analytics teams are doing is they're carefully curating the candidates and then they are hiring. So when something like this happens, for them, the most important thing is, yeah, you know, technical skills, you have some XYZ certifications, that's all fine. But when you document your journey by doing these case studies, like with screenshots, probably you can screen record and record a YouTube video of yourself. And then when you build like a repository which can be seen visually, that will give a different level of confidence to the recruiters compared to you just going and talking about your work. Like, for example, if someone asks, or let's say if someone wants to know, let's say someone will say, okay, introduce yourself. You can always take a permission. You can say, okay, can you give me just a couple of minutes to share my screen and give my introduction? And then you can directly walk them through your entire website and you can show them different projects and different use cases. And then that's how you can start the interview. Now, now one of the important things is the storytelling is very important. Like for example, if I ask any data engineer, what is SCD2? People will immediately give the answer. Okay, it is to store the historical records. It is slowly changing dimension, etc. But that being said, if you ask them, okay, in which situation we have to use SCD2 and how do we implement it? That's where people are falling short. Now, why they are falling
Abs-
short? Because
Absolutely, Sanjay. I totally agree with you because when I take interviews, I have noticed that they might be able to explain me something, but they are short on uh, explaining me the use cases, limitations, and typical business context. That's where most people are lacking.
absolutely, yes. So what is happening is when you are asking concepts, people are able to answer. When you ask them, okay, how do we implement this? Okay, can you show me an example or can you write the code? Suddenly people become blank and they freeze. And one of the reasons why that happens because it's the lack of practice and also lack of confidence, both I would say. So when you build these solutions for the cases and when you go through these scenarios, that will give you enough hands-on experience and it will boost your confidence. Like for example, in the interview, suddenly if they ask, okay, how do we handle a JSON versus how do you handle a nested JSON? So because you have gone through the case, because you have gone through those challenges, because there are no solutions provided in the case book, it is like an open-ended cases. If you see, I mean, if you notice, I haven't provided solutions. The reason is I want candidates to think and come up with their own version of solutions. Because if I give a question and then if I give an answer, it is just like any other scenario where you can just go to GitHub and get it right away. The whole point is to develop that thought process, right? And some cases are designed in such a way that there is no single solution. So you need to think of a trade-off. Okay, if I choose option A, these are pros and cons. If I choose option B, these are my pros and cons. And the second thing is whenever you're solving these cases, there is no guided there is no guidance or a guided walkthrough. Generally what happens when you go to YouTube, there is everything is taught to you, like it's like spoon fed everything, you know, like they'll only give you the GitHub repository link, they'll only have the video also have the timestamps, everything ready. Suddenly when you follow these guided tutorials, you will feel very confident about yourself that, oh, I think I can do this data engineering thing. I think it's my cup of tea. Suddenly, when you walk into an interview or someone puts you in a position where, hey, can you do this project? Suddenly, they turn blank and they don't know what to do. If you pick up this case study, I mean, if you pick up this case book and if you pick up a case study and try to solve it, definitely you will feel uncomfortable. Definitely you will go blank. Definitely you will get stuck. And that's the whole point of this book. It is to make you uncomfortable, make you face the real time scenarios so that you will try to figure it out on your own. See, in real terms, forget about interviews for a minute. If you talk realistic terms, there is, I mean, when you actually start your work, you will always have access to Google, you will have access to documentation, you have access to even LLMs like Copilot, for example. Even if you are using all these tools as well, I have seen a lot of people still not able to implement things even with all these tools. And the main reason is, like I mentioned, lack of scenario understanding, lack of storytelling, and also lack of understanding the business context and lack of practice. These all things will be bridged if you go to this book, try to solve at least a couple of cases. It will give you one flavor which you will not get anywhere outside. Because I have shown this book to many people and everyone said, this is something which I have never seen or experienced. This actually feels like a B school designed book. It doesn't feel like a technical engineering book.
Sanjay, is it possible to display the
Yeah,
cover of the book on the screen so that many people who are joining us for the first time understand what
yeah,
this is about?
yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, so this is the book. Yeah, this is the cover. I'll just
Sanjay, can you also, yeah, we are able to see it. Could you also share what initial case studies are covered here and uh, what is the what can I like, is each case study different from each other, or what does each one of them try to make us learn?
yeah. Okay, so the first thing I want to put it as a disclaimer is this book is specifically designed for Azure, right? Because there is also AWS, which is also a cloud platform. There is also Google. So all the cases are designed from an Azure point of view. So all the terminology or the terms or the scenarios will be suitable for Azure, not for other platforms. Now, some of these cases can definitely be translated to Fabric to certain extent, but again, Fabric is a different thing altogether. So the cases which are designed in this app, there are different scenarios. Like for example, one is talking about pipelines. Second topic which is very interesting is the migration. So if you look at it, first one talks about pipelines. So if I have, so what I did was, it is very difficult for me. Like for example, you asked a question, and if I start explaining, it will take another half an hour. So what I did was, I included a section called Case Study Navigator. So if you go to the Case Study Navigator, it will give you a complete summary of the cases. Like for example, what is the domain, what is the problem type, and what technologies you need to use, and what is the level of complexity. Like for example, imagine I'm not really good with PySpark, and I need a case study which is related to PySpark. I'll immediately jump to P1, P2, P3, and P4 because these are all focused on PySpark. But let's say I want to get some flavor of AI ML, then I'll immediately jump to M1, M2, M3 case studies which use ML library, ML lib, which is like time series, NLP, and all these other things. Now, this is one way of looking at cases, like from domain point, problem and technology point of view. Another view of looking at cases is purely from domain and what exactly we are focusing on. Like for example, logistic and supply chain has three cases, and it talks about forecasting, ingestion, and ESG dashboarding. So this is second way of looking at it, like indexing by business domain. And the third way of looking at it is pure tech. Okay, if you are like, okay, this is very confusing, this is too complex for me, I'm a beginner, this is also very complex, a simple way to go through it is this. Okay, I need to improve my SQL skills, you go with these three cases. Okay, I want to improve my Power BI skills, okay, you go with this. Okay, you want to explore Unity Catalog and data governance in Databricks, you go with this. So this is how I try to summarize so that everyone is clear about where they have to focus on.
Excellent, excellent, Sanjay. And I believe this is version one of your book, and
Correct.
you may be on adding cases on ongoing basis going forward, right?
Right, right. I mean, it will be revised based on the feedback as the new features come into Azure. So it'll evolve over a period of time. Yes.
Gotcha. Sanjay, you have also written another great book, and
Yeah.
I believe it's version one. Could you talk a little bit about that book as well? And what was the purpose? What was the motivation behind you sharing this, giving back to the community? Because
Yeah.
at COE, it's all about giving back to the community, which is prime and foremost objective of the Center of Excellence. So,
Correct.
what made you come out with this other book? What problems were you trying to solve? What did you see in the audience at large that made you come up with this?
Yes. So the second book which I want to talk about is the Azure Data Engineering Interview Guide. Now, one of the things I noticed was again like a gap, I would say. Like a lot of people are studying Azure, they are having portfolio. Some people are not having it. But at the end of the day, even if you have a portfolio, cracking the interview is very important because they will also try to ask you. You should be able to articulate different points, and also you need to have that grip on like different core topics which are there. Now when you talk about these different core topics, and when you talk about from an interview point of view, I have seen many people not able to clear the interviews. I mean, initially it will happen to everyone, no matter how good people are. If they are away from the job market and when they come back, definitely there will be an issue. But at the same time, that being said, there are a lot of dumps or a lot of interview guides available on the internet. But what I felt was it was not really covering the mapping. Like for example, let's say if I go to a particular XYZ company, okay, what type of questions they're asking. Like if I go and look for something like that in the market, I have seen some materials in the market, but the problem is it's all scattered around. There is no single place where I can get everything which I want. Now, if you look at this one, and some there are some guides which are like 500 pages, 1,000 pages. I mean, if you realistically think about it, it's too big. Either they are scattered, or they are too big, or they are outdated. It is like either of these combination. So I thought to bridge the gap and to give back to the community, I think there needs to be a consolidated guide which is very precise. It just talks what is needed for the interview. So if you look at the sections as
Sanjay,
well, for example,
yeah,
yeah.
I just have one question. You said you cannot find everything in one place. What do you mean by everything? Define everything.
Yes, like for example, I'm talking about like fragmentation. Like now imagine I want to study for data engineer, Azure data engineering. Now I need a combination of Databricks, ADF, then PySpark. Like I need different, I need I mean a list of combination. So from what I have seen, which is available on LinkedIn, the dumps which are available and everything, so they are like completely separate. I have seen only ADF related guides. I have seen only Databricks related things, only PySpark related things, only related to specific topics. But I have, and there are some dumps where you have the entire data engineering bundle, like for the Azure. But again, they are spread across like different files, different PDFs, different formats. It is like that. Yeah, and if I have to show you, for example, and a lot of people are like, okay, I also need a study plan. Like, okay, how do I get through it? Like, how long will it take if I have to do end to end? So even a study plan is included. If you are doing full-time study, it will take 4 weeks. If you are doing like weekend study plan, it will take 8 weeks space, like with 1 2 hours. Of course, if you spend 8 hours, you can complete it even faster. So, I mean, it starts with a study plans, like three different study plans which are there. And if you look at one particular question as an example, okay, Hadoop architecture and concepts. This question has been asked in all these companies. And if you look at the answer, it is very pointed, like all are bullets. You will not see paragraphs or wall of text. Because in a lot of interview guides, what I have seen is they are like very lengthy long answers where they are like paragraphs after paragraphs. Here I made sure that everything is to the point, because in interviews also a lot of panels expect you to give exact wording. Like they don't want to hear a story, or they don't want to hear like the complete explanation. They just want to first focus on basics, then they'll go step by step, like one question after the other. So, for example, if you look at this topic, or for example, if you go to this, or if you go to any topic for that matter, first I started with overview, When you go for an interview, you just talk about the overview. That's it. If they ask further questions, then you go into the details, right? And another thing is, uh, when when you talk about different concepts, like for example, some companies focus on I mean, for example, let's say you take a dump. Okay, there are 10 questions. Now, when you look at these 10 questions, you do not know which one is popular, which one is less popular. Now, if you look at this guide, for example, let me go to another section. So this is like pure big data fundamentals. Let's say if I go to this section. Now, if you look at the top questions, like any top question in any section, like for example, in this section, schema design, maximum number of companies have asked this question. But if you go down, for example, let's say if I go to last one, which is types of fact table, very few companies have actually asked this. So people also know where to focus. If they focus on the first few questions, those are the most commonly asked. Imagine you're running out of time, your interview is scheduled in the next 1 week, and you want to complete this book. You don't have to read all the questions. You just focus on the questions where it is asked by a lot of people. So yeah, that's how it is.
Gotcha.
So, what I'm understanding is I could complement this book with a case study so that I can build a portfolio. And if needed, I could build scenarios and I could answer those questions as well. And if it is very much on the technical side, I could pick up this book and I can prepare with that. Is that how it was designed to work, or did that just happen?
Yes, I mean both are designed for different purpose, but they complement each other very well. I mean, I think you have put it in a very nice way. So, like first you'll go with the analytics one because you are building your portfolio, and simultaneously you can go with this as well because one is implementation, like the execution part. Second is the theory. So theory you will find it in this book. This is the practical guide. So I would put it in that way. So if you combine both, it's the best of both worlds.
Excellent,
That's just
Sanjay. It seems like being a gold medalist yourself and coming from an engineering background, you applied the concepts of, made it both practical as well as, practical case studies, just like a B school book. And like you yourself said, the other book complements it very well because it's based upon the actual interviews, based upon the concepts. So this is awesome, Sanjay. Literally awesome. Sanjay, so if I were a budding data engineer, aspiring data engineer, or an aspiring analytics guy, what is your best advice? How should I be using these books? Like, if I get started, what's the first thing I should do if I'm willing to devote some time to this book every day?
Yeah. So I would say one thing that when you talk about these, I mean, how to approach, if you ask me, the best way to approach this will be to. So one is like if you already know that okay, this is the topic which I want to focus on, you can go to those tables and you can see. I mean, you can refer those indexes which are already available, which come handy. But let's say if you're not sure where to start, you can start serial wise. I mean, it is structured that way. So you can just go with serial number one and then go to step by step each case.
Gotcha. Thank you, Sanjay. Anybody from the audience would want to ask the author any questions? You're most welcome now. This is a short and sweet meeting. We'll take few questions and we'd like to wrap up. We'll also introduce another gentleman called Aradhya very shortly because we are going to have his seminar come up next time. Okay. So, guys, if you have any questions, this is your time. You can go ahead and ask them. So Joshi, Lakshmi, Nitin, Pawan, anyone can go forward. You can unmute yourself and ask.
For its in hard copy also.
Hello, I cannot.
Santosh, Shubham, Sayed, we could not hear you. Could you please be louder?
No. Is it available in hard copy or in soft copy?
No, only soft copy.
Okay, if you want to purchase it, how it is available?
You
I
can
think
currently, I think you can go to his website and print it out. And although Sanjay, now this is one aspect where Sanjay and I have debates. So, from the COE perspective, Sanjay has offered it for free initially to the, when it came out, Sanjay did offer it for free. But the entire COE team, we believe in the word that whenever a guru, whenever a teacher offers you something, there's a concept of we live in the Indian culture where we have a concept of dakshina or donation. So anybody that wants to share whatever donation, whether it is $100, $200, $300, based upon your uh, uh, the emotion or the feeling, that's where I think it's like a mark of respect to the author for investing all his time. So that's my answer to it. And I think Sanjay, how have you made it available? Is it through the website, or is it through Topmate?
yes,
What's the best thing?
I mean, it's currently available on my website and on TopMate also. It will be updated soon. I think already I think the interview guide is already available in the TopMate. I will make it available by UOD. But in the website, it is available. I think someone already shared the link in the chat box. I think Vaishnavi already shared it.
Because this book is very widely wanted by many of the people in UK, USA, Europe,
Yeah.
India as well. So guys, do justice to the book. If you I mean, if you really want to gain something, uh, it's up to you. I would, if I was to get that book, I'd give a small donation, whatever is there. That's how I would treat it. Although Sanjay would not want to, not specifically say any time on his own uh, for any money for the book. Okay, that's how it is, guys. Any other questions, guys? Pradeep, Pratik,
Yes,
Rajeshwari,
Pawan.
Santosh,
Yeah, Pawan, you
Sayed.
can go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Yes,
Firstly, Sanjay, thank you so much for this initiative. This is actually helping me a lot. I myself completed two of those case study, and I feel confident whenever I attempt a case study that I'm touch basing multiple topics and real time scenarios. However, I would like to see if there is any community that are actively working on these case studies along, I mean, in parallel, like whenever I'm working, maybe they are also doing case studies on their end. If we could come up with a community who can share and collaborate together and clarify our doubts ourselves, it would be a great collaboration, right? That's
Yes.
all I want to uh, suggest. In case if there is a group that's actively uh, collaborating on these case studies, I would love to
actually,
be part
act,
of that group.
Pawan, it's great that you bring this up because actually there are many people we know have started working on it. Uh, I mean, due to Diwali and all, there's a little bit, it's a little bit slower
Correct.
because people are enjoying their festivities, but people have started working. And so we will announce a specific group where people can, share their ideas with each other. And as and when, see, Sanjay is very busy with his work and usually finds pretty little time, perhaps over the weekends, as a favor to the community. So we might ask him to spare some time here and there to guide those community members as a part of community work. So we will do that. You'll find that announcement shortly, right? But it's great to see that people who are listening to you, you would have inspired other people to pick up couple cases, just like you got the confidence. I'm sure other people will also gain confidence out of this book. So thank you, Pawan, for being here and saying that.
Yeah, thank you, Arun sir. I think once it is created, we will talk among ourselves and we will try to solve the challenges by discussing. That also gives a kind of motivation to the people who are actually going to start in some days or some weeks.
Absolutely. And actually, I have been requesting Sanjay, as and when he finds time over the, we'll also come up with the case studies on other technologies as well. I'm not going to name them right now. Let it be a surprise to everyone. But yes, we intend to come up with other case study books as well, which will help every single COE member and non-COE members too, because we are not just limiting it to COE members. Anybody, of course, we love for people to join the COE community and add strength to our group, right? And guys, anybody that has not, we started the COE LinkedIn at the request of many people, and the YouTube channel. So if you do not know where our LinkedIn community is, you can talk to Vaishnavi, who's one of our leads, and you'll find people writing articles. So pretty much you can write articles in the COE LinkedIn or the COE YouTube. And even if, and Sanjay, just like Sanjay is doing this for the community, if you guys want to come up and present on a certain topic, or you want to share an idea, you're most welcome to deliver your own YouTube. YouTube is not limited to Sanjay or Vaishnavi or any of the leads. Our role is to show you a spark where you get inspired to deliver seminars to everybody else, your peers, your audiences. Anybody else has a question? Any other question, guys? Okay, so guys, I'll give you some time to digest the book. Sanjay has another appointment today. So at this time, I'd quickly like to introduce another lead, whose name is Aradhya Singh. Aradhya, are you here?
Yes, Arun, I'm here.
So Aradhya, I know we are going to talk about your great work as well in our next session, but I'd quickly like to give people a sneak preview. If you can go to wherever your work is there, either on your website or as a screenshot, if you can just show people the work that you have done to inspire everybody to learn Azure.
Sorry, I
That
lost my connection in between. Yeah. Okay.
no problem, Sanjay.
Okay.
Aradhya
Okay.
is
Thank
just
you.
sharing. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thanks so much, Sanjay, for being here, and thank you a lot. Thank you a lot, really,
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank
for
you.
helping our community.
Okay, so I have shared my screen. Is it visible to all of you?
Okay. So we'll have a deep dive into this book by Aradhya. Aradhya, can you explain to us what the title of this book is, and just a little bit about how why this book was developed, or what was going in your mind? What are the challenges that you saw from the students, and how does this book complement and address those challenges?
Yeah, sure, Arun. So as most of I'm the trainer for this program named as Azure Mastery Program Zero to Hero. So in this program, lots of candidates who are from IT background or non-IT background. Maybe someone is already working as a manager, on-premise architect, developer, data engineer, or any other profile they're holding. So end-to-end implementation, we are covering the live session with the architecture designing as well as the implementation. But after it, whenever they go for the interview, they have a question, hey, whatever the type of interview will ask the question. And here, as
So,
I'm
so,
covering,
so are there before you move ahead, can you take couple of minutes to tell us how the Azure Mastery program that you run, how is it different from typical, if I'm learning only ADF and Databricks, how is your program different, and what are the services you cover?
yeah, sure. So if I'm talking about the Azure Mastery Program, so here we are covering diversified list of the services. Initially, Sanjay was talking about the diversity. So here, if anyone who is working as a maybe Power BI developer or maybe working as a data engineer. So usually what they're doing, they're using 1, 2, or 3 services. But on the basis of the couple of services, survival in industry is not so easy. Hence, what we decided to introduce another course which is called the Azure Mastery Program. In this Azure Mastery Program, we are covering diversified list of the services. Like some services we are covering from infrastructure side, development side, architecting side, as well as the automation. So it means we are covering multiple type of services. Why we are covering multiple type of services? The reason behind it, in real-time situation, when you go for the interview, or in real-time situation, when you're going to implement something on the basis of 1 or 2 services, you cannot complete your solution. For example, in maybe first project, you have to use 10 different services. In second project, you have to use 20 services. If you don't know how the services are working, how these are internally integrated, so what type of solution will provide, or how you will implement it? So the most of the data engineers or most of the other profile holders are struggling the region. Whatever they know, they are providing the solution from that side only. For example, if anyone who is working on the .NET, if you ask any question related to anything, they will give the solution related to .NET only. For example, if you talk about the report, they will not talk about the Power BI. They will tell you, okay, do one thing, let's create a web-based report, or let's use the SSRS report. Similarly, if you tell them to store the data, so what they will do, wherever the website is hosted or application is hosted, they will provide the solution to store the data inside the website. So
Yeah,
question,
that's another area where a lot of data
correct,
engineers are lacking, because they're able to work on one thing, but they don't know how these services are integrated with each other. And they,
correct,
when they're asked, I know you're covering a lot of real type scenarios within your class itself, but still people were lacking in the interviews. When they go to interviews, if they are asked any questions about the services, they have no idea
no
what to
idea.
say.
Yeah,
So
even
I
I'll
guess
give,
I guess your book answers that kind of question. Yeah,
yeah,
please go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Aradhya.
So I'll give another example. Normally, a person who is working as a developer, hardcore developer, what they're doing, they're just writing the code. But industry is not looking for the people who can only write the code. The reason, if you can write the code, ChatGPT also writing the code. So industry is looking for professional who can provide the solution, or whatever is not possible through the ChatGPT or through AI, that you can provide. So if you another example I'll give you. Uh, if anyone who is working as a developer, normally connection string, suppose you have to connect the Databricks and storage account. So whatever the connection string normally developers are maintaining, they're maintaining as a hard coded. And these are the hard coding and easy target for the attackers. So most of the projects are sensitive because of the hard coding. So what we prefer, we suggest, hey, don't maintain any data anywhere, neither inside the configuration, not in database, or not somewhere else. Microsoft are providing a dedicated service to provide us to maintain such type of sensitive information like Key Vault, AKV. So whatever the sensitive information you have, just store your Azure, I mean, sensitive information inside the Azure Key Vault, and access inside your Databricks notebook, or wherever you want. In case you want to access inside the Python script or .NET script or in Databricks, you can access it. Similarly, whenever there's a problem, suppose you have to retrieve the data from some data sources. So if you're discussing with the data engineer, they will suggest you to write a pipeline. But every time we don't require to write a pipeline. For example, suppose there's a customer X and they have two projects available, project A and project B. If you'll suggest your if you'll tell your developer to retrieve the data from A to B, what the developer will do, developer will write the pipeline, which is not required. So what you can do, there's a feature available, network peering, VNet peering. Just enable the VNet peering and access the data without writing a single line of code. So
Wow,
in industry, 30 to 40% cases, data engineers are unnecessarily they are writing the code. It's not required. If not
gotcha.
required, why you are writing the code? Why they are writing the
So
code? The reason they don't have, they cannot visualize it. How to provide the solution? If you don't know how to provide the solution, what are the alternate and best options are available? they will write the code, and which is not required.
So, Aradhya, this book seems to be very vast and very deep, uh, and it will help a lot of people who are preparing for interviews. But and I know we are going to do a deep dive on the topics. But for today's meeting, could you just at a high level tell us? I see a lot of contents here on the screen. Could you
Yeah.
share with us, what all topics are covered in this book?
Okay. So, guys, in this book, usually I start from very beginning, like foundation. So just after the foundation, I start with the storage account. This is one of the multi-purpose service. Under the storage account, we have multiple type of storage options are available. So all the storage options will be covered with their use cases, pros, cons, means whatever the features are available with the feature, pros, cons, and case study and use cases are available. Then just after it, virtual machine, fleet. Suppose you're planning to create 1 VM or 10 VM, just create one by one. But in case you're planning to create 1,000 machine in single go, suppose you have trillions of maybe you have terabytes of records available which you are planning to process within few minutes. So you cannot rely on one cluster. What you can do in single go, you can process data with the help of fleets. Similarly, IP, NSG, NIC, storage account. I mean, this is the part of storage account, but available as a separate entity or separate service. This storage Bastion. So Bastion is very important, guys. Whenever you're planning to access your Databricks notebook or any other resources, so you cannot access directly through the portal. In case you're planning to access directly through the portal, it will be very, or your resources will be very easy target for the attackers. So in that case, recommendation from Microsoft is to access your resources through the Bastion. So VMSS, availability zone, availability set, load balancer, application gateway, traffic manager, firewall, VPN gateway, DNS, backup recovery service world. So the
So
data
these
is
are
sensitive.
basically so basically I'm understanding is that we have 40 plus services and you're uncovering the nuances of all these 40 services, and there's good notes here,
Yeah.
good diagrams. And I think, are there, what I find very interesting in your cases, you are the only instructor that covers like live architecture diagrams.
Architecture.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Because
guys,
no courses do architecture diagrams in this,
correct.
which
So in
the
this
And,
notes
course,
do.
and I have something to add as a beginner and as a student of Aradhya's classes. The content here is not just question and answer based. Usually, what I find difficult in interview guides is that you have questions and you have answers, but there is no context. But apart from that, this book is very comprehensive that you could just pick it up and read it as a total beginner and you will understand what is going on. It's not just questions that are thrown into your faces with irrelevant or without context answers. This is very contextual and it's very comprehensive in itself.
yeah, thank you.
Wow. So,
So
Adya, does this book, because so there'll be some people who are beginners, there'll be some people who are from non-IT, there'll be some people who will be from different streams. They might be experienced in IT as well. So, do these notes and the interview guide sort of a thing, does it cover the needs of both kind of people?
yes, both. So this is version 1.0. I'm writing another book which will be available by end of next month. Version 2.0, that will be more detailed. Region here is the first version, so around 118 or 119 pages are here. The next book over there, I'm expecting the pages will be around 200 plus pages, 200 or 200,
Wow.
somewhere between 2 to 250 pages.
So
Over
you are
there,
developing multiple
architecture design.
copies in sprints. Yeah.
Yes. So over there, this is for the beginner or intermediate level. In case if anyone already working on the cloud services and you are planning to focus toward the architecting part, then the version 2.0, I'm going to cover the architecture also. Means for each services, there'll be multiple solution and multiple architecture.
Could you do me a favor? Could you show us the website or any place where this book
Yeah,
is available? It can be
correct.
downloaded.
Yeah. So the website is cloudvista360.com. Although it is under maintenance mode, the content we are moving from one to another server, which will be ready by next 2 days. So this is the website where
Gotcha.
you will get the course detail. So this is the course detail. In case you want to explore it, so here, like in case you want to check the course description, what I mean, who can target audience, and
Got you.
whatever
So
key
no,
points
where
we
could I
have.
where can I download the book from?
So the book is available under download section, and this is the content. As of now, we have single book available, but by end of next month, the version 2.0 also will be available under the download section.
Wow. Arda, this is awesome. It will help lots and lots of people. And I'm sure many of those people would want to become a part of the COE to find out. Because not only I think you have great videos, testimonials, and whatnot.
Yes.
So I would strongly recommend people who are still lost in the legacy technologies to understand what cloud is, how to master the cloud, how to master Azure, what are the 40 services or that he's talking about. So all those kind of things are a great thing to learn because 98% of the companies on the planet, they are all affected by this cloud wave. And if your resume does not talk about cloud, it's a naked resume. It's almost like you're walking naked on the road. These days, regardless whether you're a data analyst, business analyst, SharePoint, somebody, developer, you are anybody in the market and you do not have mastery over cloud, you will soon realize either you are let go, you are laid off, reduction in force, whatever you call it, or you are, you're placed on PIP, performance improvement plan, or, they'll ask you to upskill. They'll ask you to upskill because in today's world, that's a reality. Majority of the companies, if you're watching the news, if you are not upskilling, upgrading to cloud technologies, basically your worth in the market keeps on going down and down, it keeps falling. So thank you,
Yeah.
Aradhya, for coming out with this.
Thank you.
I will ask the audience if they have any questions, and we can wrap up the meeting soon because we're going to have a deep dive some other day. So anybody, Lakshmi, Pawan, Santosh, Sayed, anyone has any questions for Aradhya?
No, I don't have question, but uh, I can say this is the best because Aradhya has been putting the same efforts in class.
Wow,
So as of now,
amazing.
architecture I haven't included, Arun. In version 2.0, architecture will be available.
Yeah.
Amazing,
For every
amazing.
topic, usually I'm covering 3 to 5 architectures. So
And
all
one
these
thing
are
I can say, like I have been a regular student in Aradhya's class, and whoever is following Aradhya's class, they get the complete understanding of Azure and they get the complete understanding of market, how to work with industry.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that like I just yesterday or day before I heard that even a non-IT person they're clearing certifications and they're joining. Some people are
Yeah.
even joining companies in the past. They've joined companies like Microsoft and other big places, GE and others. Others I've seen the videos on your website. So so Aradhya, when some people, if they're preparing for AZ 104, 204, or 305, I believe you are giving them. I mean, it's very obvious that you're giving them great practical knowledge because
Yes.
without the great practical knowledge and scenarios, real life scenarios, it's very tough to pass the admin exam.
Correct. Correct. So any exam, usually I suggest everyone to start the foundational. Just after it, just think about the solution and start the implementation. The region, if you're not going to implement, then we'll forget everything maybe after a day or week. So usually 80 to 90% time, I'm also focusing on practical implementation. Remaining time, I'm focusing on the architecture designing, use case study, interview preparation, and other activities.
So, Radha, you come from a wide experience where I know that you have been an enterprise architect for many, many years. You also bring in, when you were writing this book, you had real life experiences, battle tested experiences from your consulting days in various MNCs, not only in India.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
so when you were writing this book, did you also think about like what are the typical real life problems that people are asked?
Yes. So during the implementation, wherever the engineers are struggling, all these practices also, topic wise, I have mentioned all the best practices. For example, suppose you are working on SQL or you're working on any other service like keyword. So whatever the points that you should focus or remember during the implementation or in which situation you should use it. So the common use cases, best practices, key properties, features are available with the other details. Example I given you initially. In most of the cases, if there's a data available in same organization or under the same network, so if you discuss with the data engineer, they will not give any solution. They will tell you, okay, do one thing, let's write a pipeline and retrieve the data. So it's not a solution. If the data is available within the network, or so in that case, what you can do, just enable the VNet pairing and data will be available without writing a single line of code. But
Gotcha.
a person who is working as a developer, why they are not providing the solution, the region they don't know. They know only two services, Databricks and Data Factory. So whatever the problem they are facing, they are trying to provide the solution using these two services only. And that's not a right solution. That is just
Gotcha.
adjustment.
Yeah, understood.
That is
So,
that is one more thing that I absolutely love about Aradhya's class is that I get to learn what not to do on top of what to do. So it's like you also learn the best practices, but you also
Yeah.
learn the wasteful practices, which I think is not just GCD available knowledge, and I really appreciate it because I get to learn the scenarios in the like day-to-day scenarios, company practices, and everything, and how to cut costs and how to be an efficient data engineer in the overall picture. And that has helped me so much to understand how everything works on Azure.
Yep. And one more part in cloud computing, Azure cloud or any other cloud computing. So in somewhere between 50 to 70% cases, we are we are paying extra amount to the providers, cloud providers. Why? The reason we don't have the proper solution available because of the improper solution, unnecessary we are paying extra. So guys, I'll give the example. I'll give the example. Suppose let's talk about the cluster. Suppose I have some data on schedule time, maybe once in a day, we have to process the data. Okay. Or maybe we have to process data multiple times in a day. Maybe after every few minutes, we have to process data from source system. And here in Azure Cloud Computing, especially in data engineering, we have a service used which is called the Event Hub. So Event Hub is mainly used whenever you're planning to process the data on real time. I mean, this is common. Almost all the data engineers or developers know that, okay, this is one of the service available and we can use it. But they don't know when to use and when to not use. So if you're running the data, if you're going to consume the data in Databricks, you have to create an instance. That instance must run 24/7. Whether you're using or not using, you have to pay for it. This is problem number one. Problem number two, suppose the size of the data is greater than 1 MB. Suppose whatever the invoice sales order we are receiving from the source system, if the size of the data is greater than maybe 1 MB or 2 MB, so you cannot pull the data. And the fact is, in real-time situation, sometimes the size of the data will be greater than 2 MB, maybe 100 MB, 500 MB. So what is the solution? They don't know. So what unnecessary you are paying, unnecessary which is not required. So what usually I suggest, if you're planning to transfer the data or you're planning to display data in Power BI, so how many times you'll display or refresh? Maybe 6 times, 10 times in a day, 6 times, 8 times, or maybe 20, 12 times in a day. So you should not go with the real-time data processing. If you're planning to process data on real time, unnecessary you have to pay multiple times higher. So it would be better to change the strategy and store the data in a storage account and retrieve from there. Using this approach, at least 90% bill you can reduce. At least
Got you.
90%.
Got it. So you're basically not only through your book, but through your classes and consulting, you're guiding not only students but organizations on how to go about saving costs, improving the
Yes.
efficiency, and all those kind of things.
Correct.
Are
Correct.
there? This is awesome. I know that today you are stuck in a hospital because you're taking care of your daughter who's sick. So I will not hold you for a long time. Maybe if somebody has one last minute question, they can ask you. And uh, but thank you, Adya, for being with us here today. It was a good surprise, and we'll have another detailed session on the book and any other questions people may have. Right. So, guys, is there any last minute question that you want to ask Adya? I'm just conscious of his time because his daughter is sick. He's a small child, and he has to go. Anyone, guys?
Uh, yeah, Arun, I have one question. So actually, this is regarding a role in the data engineering. So I see like there is a lot of, I mean, in the like learning industry and training industry, there is a lot of about the data engineering, and there are roles are also coming in. So I just want to understand like what are the hierarchy like there is a junior data engineer, there is a senior data engineer, and there is a principal
Yeah,
and the architect.
correct. Correct. Yeah, different kind of companies will have a different hierarchy, but typically you'll have a junior data engineer, senior data engineer, and then you become some places have staff data engineer, a principal data engineer, and then you become data architect. And some places, if you're running the entire enterprise, it's called an enterprise data architect. So we have a session coming up with Ashok Kumar, who's another lead of the COE, and I will have him on the screen, and we'll be asking him a lot of questions for the audience members. So that is being organized by Vaishnavi soon. So stay tuned for that. I want to give you a quick answer, but due to shortage of time today, we may not be able to cover everything. But I'll love to have a public meeting set up for that, as well as a one-on-one if you need with Ashok Kumar. Right?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Arun. Really appreciate you.
All right. Thank you so much, Radha, for being here. Vaishnavi, do you want to say some last minute words?
No, actually, just if you pick up the book and read it by yourself, you realize how useful it is. As a beginner, I can vouch for that. Thank you,
Thank you.
Aradhya, for joining.
Yeah, and thank you, Vaishnavi, and thank you to all the audience members who are here. I hope that the recording reaches out to many, many people, and they learn. Each one of our leads is a gem, and they are producing all these different kind of things to help millions of people across the globe. So I'm really proud of the work that COE has been able to achieve together. I always say, together we can, and together we will. We will change careers. With that, thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good time. Bye.
Bye.